Apologetics won't save you, but it might save them. Someone once told me apologetics doesn't lead anyone to salvation. And you know what? Maybe they thought that that's true, but here's what I've learned. Recently, I was sharing about a book I just finished reading called Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus by Nabil Qureshi. It was an incredibly powerful book about a devout Muslim who, in doing vast amounts of research to debate his beliefs with a group of Christian friends, ultimately converted to Christianity after carefully evaluating all of the evidence and became one of the most devout Christian apologists of our time. I told him how I am fascinated by the evidence as well and suggested, as I always do, that he should read it. After saying this, he responded that none of that apologetic stuff leads to salvation. This made me pause and it got me thinking, does evidence really lead people to Christ? Or is faith purely emotional, purely spiritual? And today I want to dive deep into the subject and bring you clarity. But before we jump in, don't forget to like this video if it encourages you. Subscribe so you never miss a new devotional or Bible study, and share it with someone who needs a fresh perspective from Scripture. Also, drop a comment below and let me know what stood out to you. I'd love to hear how God is speaking to you. Okay, so let me start with this, the reality of evangelism. Now, I believe salvation comes by grace through faith, 100%. But let's get honest. When you're sharing Jesus with someone who has real doubts, complex issues, or even trauma from religion, saying, "I just know it in my heart," may not be enough. Apologetics is not the end, it's the bridge. And if you're not familiar with the term apologetics, it is the branch of Christian theology that deals with giving a reasoned defense of the faith. The word comes from the Greek word apologia, which means a defense, as in a courtroom setting. It is not about apologizing for being a Christian. It's about explaining why Christianity is true using logic, historical evidence, and sound reasoning. Most simply stated, Christian apologetics is the practice of answering objections to the Christian faith and giving reasons for believing in Christ. And the key verse behind all of it is 1 Peter 3:15, which says, "But in your hearts honor Christ the Lord as holy, always being prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you." The bottom line is that it helps us give reasons for the hope that is within us. It equips us to defend, to explain, and to testify with clarity, not just with passion, and goes hand in hand with evangelism. So I'm sure that everyone listening understands the difference between emotional and thoughtful decisions, particularly the ramifications of each based on the impact the decision made on you and those around you. This is especially important when you consider the fact that we live in a world of sound bites and emotions. Faith is not just a feeling, and it is not blind. Jesus did not say to have faith without thinking. In fact, he said, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength." And most people don't put much thought into the word mind in this verse, but here it is, as clear as it can be in Mark 12:30. A carefully thought out decision grounded in faith is lasting. Emotions will fade, feelings will change, but truth will always endure. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's talk about apologetics and the story of redemption. And I'm going to present this as a high-level outline for now, and we'll be getting much deeper in future videos. In Genesis, we meet the Creator. We see intelligent design that is intentional and orderly. The intricate order and fine-tuning of the universe from DNA to galaxies strongly point to an intelligent designer, not random chance. Genesis reveals a creator whose design reflects purpose, not chaos, echoed by silence that observes laws, patterns, and precisions. Then comes the fall, and we see the need for rescue. Throughout Israel's history, prophecy lays the groundwork for a coming Messiah. And in Jesus, we meet the fulfillment, the Word made flesh, who died and rose again, and whose resurrection is backed by eyewitnesses, documentation, and transformation. This is not just a story or a fairy tale. This is evidence, and it is reason to believe. Okay, so why does this matter today? It matters because people today are not rejecting God because they have heard too much truth. They are walking away because they have never heard a truth that has answered their questions. Let me say this again, and I hope that it really sinks in. People today are not rejecting God because they've heard too much truth. They are walking away because they have never heard a truth that has answered their questions. I know this because I have lifelong friends who I have not been able to convince yet to believe in God. And because I care greatly for them, they are one of the primary reasons why I have been studying this so deeply, with the hope that the Lord will first inspire me to make my own case for why I believe what I believe, and secondly, that I can learn to articulate it in a manner that reaches them by giving me the right words to help them believe like I do one day. This is literally an example of me living according to Mark 12:30 and using my mind to learn all I can to help them answer the most important question that there is. I also want you to know this. Everyone believes in something. Believe in nothing is in fact a belief in something. So how do we reach those who do not believe if we cannot answer this question ourselves without emotions and in a manner that helps them? So let me give you an example of an apologetic approach to the question, how was the universe created? The Big Bang versus intelligent creation. And let you think about whether this line of thought could help you in leading someone who doesn't believe to believe. Science has done all that they can to come up with ways to explain this. And no matter how much data is presented and how smart scientists think they are or actually are, all they have are theories based on what they have access to see, taste, touch, smell, or measure, and have not been able to prove anything beyond the shadow of a doubt, because the science is always changing. The predominant theory in scientific circles is the Big Bang theory. The Big Bang theory proposes that the universe began as a single point of infinite density and expanded rapidly about 13.8 billion years ago. It marks the origin of space, time, matter, and energy, and is supported by evidence like cosmic background radiation and galaxy expansion. But they cannot answer some of the most foundational questions. So let's take just one of these many arguments called the Kalam cosmological argument. This argument challenges the science with just 3 statements that science cannot answer. Number 1, whatever begins to exist has a cause. Number 2, the universe began to exist. And number 3, therefore the universe has a cause. The Big Bang points to a beginning, and everything that begins has a cause. That cause must be beyond space, time, and matter, and that sounds a lot like God. Then this leads to the obvious next question. What are the odds that the Big Bang happened and that things just came together in the way that they did to support life as we know it without the existence of an intelligent creator? Let me give you 3 quick stats that will blow your mind to illustrate the odds of random chance. And by random chance, I mean the random chance of the Big Bang bringing us here to this exact moment in time without the existence of an intelligent creator. Number 1, fine-tuning of the universe. The odds of just one of the fundamental constraints, like gravity, for example, being perfectly fine-tuned for life is estimated at 1 in 10 to the 60th power or worse. For comparison, that's like firing a bullet at a coin on the far side of the observable universe, 93 billion light years away, and hitting it. Number 2, life from non-life, abiogenesis. The probability of forming a simple functional protein, that's just one simple functional protein, by random chance is roughly 1 in 10th to the 77th power. Now, for a living cell, it is astronomically smaller. To simplify this, it's like a tornado sweeping through a junkyard and assembling a fully functional 747 jet with fuel in the tank and autopilot ready to fly you to your destination. And number 3, fine-tuning of all physical constraints together. Many physicists say that the odds of all constraints aligning for life is around 1 in 10 to the 120th power or worse. That's like winning the Powerball lottery 10 times in a row after buying just one ticket each time. The point of apologetics is to use logic like this to present facts to show that these odds don't prove God's existence, but that they make a strong case that the universe is not random and that it is designed. Intelligent design is a way more rational explanation than chance. These are the type of questions that keep people from believing in God and coming to the saving grace of Jesus Christ. What is important to understand here is that apologetics and evangelism go hand in hand. No one in Christian circles would ever argue that evangelism is not important or effective in reaching the lost. Effective evangelism is strengthened by your ability to make a case for why you believe what you believe. One tills the soil, the other plants the seed, and God brings the growth. But why would this person who professes to be a believer say to me that apologetics does not lead to salvation? I'm going to defer from giving my opinion directly about this individual and just pray that the Lord will open their eyes and maybe even come across this video and learn the truth. If you've ever been told to just believe but still had questions, you're not weak, you're human. I want to encourage you to dig into the evidence. Study the case. Know why you believe, because when your faith is tested, and it will be, your feelings won't be enough, but truth will stand. If you want to learn more about the evidence for Christianity, start by looking for names like Ravi Zacharias, Nabil Qureshi, Francis Schaeffer, and Michael Heiser, just to name a few that I have learned so much from over the years. I also recommend Cold Case Christianity by J. Warren Wallace and More Than a Carpenter by Josh McDowell if you really want to read clear and articulate step-by-step apologetic case studies. These authors do a great job of making you think. And this really opens up the Bible when you read with this level of understanding. So make sure to dive into the Bible with all your heart and with all your mind. Let's build a faith that's not just felt, but founded.